Hey gang, welcome back to my channel. I've got another video here for you to take a look at. It's a painting that I did of Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman. She's awesome. I love that film. I hope you enjoy it. I talk a little bit about digital tools and how they're kind of like a hammer. Anyways, you'll see. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will talk to you later. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I've got another video for you here. It's drawing another portrait in the visual library series. I'm still working on understanding how to draw portraits effectively and correctly. I am using multiple approaches. I'm sort of overlaying a number of approaches now and sort of developing my own and picking and choosing to getting to a place for what feels comfortable for myself in the way that I draw. And so you can kind of see that process here in the video. The main thing I want to touch on with this video is to talk a little bit about digital tools and sort of getting comfortable with the fact that they are excellent in terms of shortcutting and allowing you some flexibility. So with this piece, you'll see as I go along that when I get towards the end, I actually realized that I didn't do things quite accurately enough. I ended up with this portrait, drawing it all the way through, completing, quote unquote, completing it, and then I posted it on social media, and then the next day when I woke up, I looked at my feed, as I normally do, and I was like, oh, I wasn't happy with what it looked like. I was just discontent. At this point here, you can see I just flipped the canvas. That's a really great way to help yourself kind of gauge whether or not something is accurate. It's sort of the same thing that people do when you take a piece and you hold it and look at it in a mirror. You can easily tell fairly quickly if something's super wonky. So I just had flipped the canvas there to try and help myself see better. Anyhow, so with this piece, I got to the end and I finished, and then I looked at it and I just wasn't content with the way that it felt. It didn't quite feel right to me. There's a number of reasons for that, which I'll share in a little bit as we get closer to the end of the video. But you can see here with this piece, so I've been doing these portraits and I've been trying to kind of mimic stylistically tendencies that Phil Noto gravitates towards, just trying to, I guess, restrain myself a little bit and pare things down. The last two portraits that I've done, I've sort of bounced back to my own tendencies, which is to be a little bit more heavy-handed, a little bit more rendery in the way that I approach and finish my pieces. And that's something that I, consciously chose to do. I will probably be looking at trying to streamline that process a little bit more as I go forward, as this piece and the latest piece that I did, which was a portrait of Luke Skywalker, took me a little bit longer. And one of the reasons I'm trying to examine Phil Noto's work so much is because he has a great economy of the way that he approaches the production of a piece. And I am a very busy person, so I want to find some economic ways to get to a result that pleases me and hopefully pleases my audience. So I'll be doing some more portrait work down the road here, and that's one of the things that I'm going to be looking at closely, is how I can economize things a little bit better. So with this piece, it was a lot more painting, a lot more deliberate sort of placement of brush strokes and color, and you can see sort of the results of the first pass are a little bit heavy-handed. There's just, the brush strokes are a little more evident, there's a little bit of a coarseness to it, and I ended up softening stuff a lot. Part of the reason is, as I examined stuff more closely, her features are so soft, and in this photo in particular, there's just a roundness and a softness to her features, and I felt like the finished rendering that I had placed on the painting kind of left it feeling a little bit more harsh, a little bit more angular and kind of jagged, and it just didn't, it sort of betrayed her features. And she's a very beautiful woman, and I was sort of I guess over emphasizing aspects of her the features of her face, which sort of, I guess, betrayed that beauty. So you can see here, the other thing I'm doing is just continuing to kind of pursue or explore, abstract backgrounds and abstract components in conjunction with finished pieces, with the portraits. And so one of the things that's great about digital tools is that you can easily change out the background, you can easily play with stuff. And at this point, I had sort of considered this as a finished piece, and you know, I was basically just looking at any sort of minor details or things that I may need to change at this point. So just kind of like hair detailing aspects, just to give it a little bit more life, and then I was kind of considered it a completed piece. So now here you can see sort of the approach that I took to correcting things after I'd seen it. One of the things that I love about using digital tools is it gives me the opportunity to really examine stuff very crisply against my subject matter. So in this case, I've essentially got the photograph underneath my painting, and I'm just flicking them on and off, and then adjusting the features above the photograph to match more closely. And then I also do a draw over on top of the photograph, and then I apply that over top of my painting to adjust the features to the drawing of the tracing, essentially, of her face, of the subject's face. Now, some people might feel like, oh, this is, you know, cheating, but it's really not. So if you look at things like, well, I have a really great book about Norman Rockwell's process of taking photographs and using those photographs in his work. And also a lot of artists in the past have used things like camera obscura, which is essentially a projector to get the structure and the mapping of a composition down quickly onto the paper, and to help make corrections. And then there's also the grid method, which is an old school method where you would draw a grid over top of your canvas and a grid over top of your subject, and you would use that to map the features based on the grid lines. So really, like, your technology should be a shortcut for you. You got to remember, digital tools are there for a purpose. They're kind of made for us to be able to shortcut things. So at the end, I was much happier with the finished result, which you see here. The difference between the two was, to me, very much worth going through the process of, I guess, refining the appearance of her. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. I hope that it gives you guys some encouragement, because I think sometimes we get stuck on the idea that we have to do things perfectly the first time, and if we can't observe it and do it super well the first time, then we're just not good enough. The truth of the matter is, if I took the time and really poured myself into drawing this freehand, I could get it to the correct state. I've done enough portraiture and enough drawing that I know that I could do that. It's just a matter of economics. Again, like I said, it's like you wouldn't give a carpenter a toy hammer because we have real hammers. So why not use that hammer in the way that it's intended to be used? So, and sometimes, I guess my analogy is that sometimes digital tools are like a hammer. They can really hammer things out for you quickly, and don't be afraid to use them in that way. Well, there you have it, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching this process, and I hope that it's given you some encouragement, and I look forward to any feedback you might have. I'm still continuing to work on my story that I'll be promoting through my Patreon page. If you haven't checked it out, please do. If you want to leave a comment here, I'd really appreciate it, and please subscribe and share this channel. I'm really working hard to continue to grow the content on here. I'm hopefully going to be doing a few interviews that I'll be putting up on my podcast as well, the Failing Towards Success podcast on iTunes, and look forward to doing that throughout the course of 2018 and expanding that side of this process. I'm really enjoying my process of learning and growing as a creator, and sharing that journey with you guys, and sharing my whatever level of expertise I have with you as well. And I look forward to joining you as you join me on this journey. All right. Thanks, guys. Until next time, be good to each other. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. If you'd like to see more content, please click one of the videos on the screen. If you'd like to be notified when all my videos go up, please click the bell icon. And if you'd like to follow me on social medias, you can find me on patreon.com/Corey Lansdell. I'm at Corey Lansdell on Twitter and Instagram, and you can find me on Facebook as well. Until next time, you guys, be good to each other.